Antwerp, 28th of March 2007. We're in front of the Justice Building, the main Justice Building in Antwerp. With us we have Stijn from Trekt Uw Plant, which is a non-profit organization. Trekt Uw Plant means draw up your plant, but it's also a pun, which means do it yourself. Stijn was here today with his fellow members of Trekt Uw Plant because he was he had to appear before court. Stijn, can you explain me what Trekt Uw Plant is all about?
Trekt Uw Plant is an association of cannabis consumers who come together to be able to grow together one plant which they can have for Belgian law. So people can possess one plant. Now we've made an association where we make it possible for people to bring together these plants and make a legal plantation so people can grow their own weed.
So you're saying it's legal in Belgium to own one plant and it's legal to grow it at home. Your plantation would be legal, so why are you in court?
Well, the prosecutor, he doesn't like the cannabis reform policy that we had since 2003. So he opposes that, and he'll do anything to get us convicted on this, so that he can block off cannabis reform policies.
What are the charges put against you?
Production of drugs. So now there's only one way that he can can get us convicted, and that is that there are circumstances that make this case heavier, and there is no such thing, but he now puts forward that Trekt Uw Plant is a criminal organization, which is a heavy indictment. So he'll be able to bring us to court. Now we oppose that, of course. We aren't criminals. We aren't a criminal organization. We are we are members of civil society, organizing ourselves to deal with problems that we encounter in our daily life. So I don't think it will stand.
How did it go today?
Well, we had the impression that the prosecutor really had no story with him. Our own lawyer, he explained very good what it's all about, and that we do our things according to the law. I think the judges, they won't be impressed with the story of the prosecutor because he has nothing.
So, if I understood right, the idea is that in Belgium everyone is allowed to have one plant and whatever that plant produces. The idea of Trekt Uw Plant is to put these plants together to make it easy for people to grow their own plants. Is this important in a European context? Are there examples in Europe of similar initiatives?
Yeah, in Spain we have also a cannabis club who has a similar concept that enables individual consumers to grow for themselves. With NCAT we have the cannabis social clubs, which is a European-wide organization of local organizations like the one we are in, where people from society come together to do this thing, growing for themselves. People who grow for themselves aren't dependent on what the criminal market produces, which is better, of course. Why the association? Well, not everybody is able to grow a plant like it has to be, and it's like a technique, and people should learn. Also, we have parents with children at home who don't. These parents, they don't want to grow this weed in front of their children. Or other people, they live in a small apartment or studio, they don't have the room to grow their one plant. This is what Trekt Uw Plant is about. For these people, we provide space and accommodation to be able to grow your own weed.
Now currently there is a whole discussion coming up. It's an old discussion, but it's coming up again, mainly based on new research which was published in The Lancet. If you read the article, you could say that cannabis is not as harmless as it is being presented. It can lead to addiction, it can lead to all kinds of mental problems. What's your stand on this?
Well, it's true that drugs, legal or illegal, can have harmful effects on people. But it's also true that the criminal market is only rising. This is only making it worse. It's the criminal market. With prohibition, the government has excluded itself from control on this market. So if people complain about rising THC levels in plants, well, the rising of THC is because you don't have control over this market. You don't have a say in this. If you go start regulating, then you can regulate the amount of THC in plants. Also, the accessibility of illegal drugs. Like now, everything is prohibited, so everything is allowed. Also, children and young people can just buy dope. Like if a young guy goes to a tobacco store to buy tobacco, he has to show his ID. If he isn't 16 years of age, he won't get tobacco. If the same guy goes to buy weed with a cannabis dealer, he has to show nothing and he gets what he wants. And that's the difference between the chaotic market that we know and a regulated market.
Now, the struggle to depenalize or to legalize cannabis or drugs in general, it's a long struggle. How do you see this in a European context or an international context? Because the Belgian government or the Belgian parliament is not able to just change the laws because we're obliged to follow international conventions.
The convention who blocks everything worldwide. Experts say that it's easier to change the Bible than to change the convention. So in the end we will go probably to a situation where a convention is less and less taken into account because local governments have to do policy for what's locally needed, and we can't get rid of the convention. We have to take care of our own, and in Europe maybe things are possible because here we have a powerful civil society that can, stand up and arrange it for themselves.
Which means the international convention will become redundant.
Wat is redundant ook alweer? Neglected. The international convention from 1961 will be neglected in the future because it's not adapted to reality.
Okay, thank you. This was Peter from Antwerp for TUP-TV. We'll be back on the 25th of April with more on this trial.